Differentiation rules, page 10. So we're going to continue on with some derivatives of sine and cosine. So remember, the derivative of sine is cosine, and the derivative of cosine is negative sine. Okay, so the derivative of this one here, they're added together, they're subtracted, so I can take the derivative of each one separately and subtract the results. I have a function inside of a function. The outside function is sine. The derivative of the outside function is cosine. I leave the inside the same. Think of x over 2 as 1/2 times x. The derivative of x over 2 is 1/2. The derivative of -3 cosine x, we just put -3 out front. It's a coefficient. The derivative of cosine x, no chain rule necessary. It's just negative sine of x. I can simplify this. 1/2 cosine x over 2 plus 3 sine of x. Okay. Let's see, next one. So y is 4 sine x minus cosine 2x. The first one is not a function inside of a function, so we just leave the coefficient there and we write down the derivative of sine x, which is cosine x. Negative cosine 2x, that is a function inside of a function, so the derivative of cosine is negative sine, so I'm going to put negative sine, and I leave the inside the same. And then I'm going to take the derivative of the inside function, 2x, the derivative of the inside function is 2. I'm going to rewrite this. Okay. And the derivative of sine x over x, there's two ways to do this. I could write this as a multiplication, right? And then I could use product rule, or I could use quotient rule. Let's use quotient rule. So if this is u and this is v, then u dash is equal to cosine x, and v dash is equal to 1. So now let's write down quotient rule. Okay, so I'm going to put v squared on the bottom, that would be x squared. On top, I'm going to put v u dash minus u v dash. And I'm done, okay? If you did product rule, it would look a little bit different, but you would see that you can simplify it to be the same thing. 2a, differentiate with respect to x, just saying to find the derivative. They say with respect to x, there's only one variable here, it's x, so okay. So the derivative of x squared is 2x. The derivative of cosine x, remember, is negative sine x. That's it. E to the x times cosine x, this is a product. So product requires product rule. If this is u and this is v, u dash is e to the x. Remember, the derivative of e to the x is itself. V dash is equal to negative sine x because v is cosine x. And then we just, multiply these two together, right? So e to the x times negative sine x plus e to the x cosine x. So e to the x cosine x minus sine of x. Okay. Natural log of sine x. So the outside function is natural log, the inside function is sine x. First, we're going to take the derivative of the outside function, 1 over the inside function. Then we multiply it times the derivative of the inside function in the numerator. So it's equal to cosine x divided by sine x. Outside function is sine x, inside function is 3x. So we take the derivative of the outside function, it's cosine. We leave the inside the same. Then we do chain rule on the inside. Simplified, it's 3 cosine 3x. Didn't we have this one before? We did. What the heck? Okay, we already know the answer. It's this. What are they? They're just like giving us different instructions and thinking we're going to freak out just because it says a different instruction. Differentiate with respect to x. Okay, so in this case, we have an outside function, inside function, chain rule. Outside function is sine x. We take the derivative of it. We leave the inside the same. Then we take the derivative of the inside function. And we're done. Simplifying. Okay. C. It's easier if we rewrite this as cosine to the 1/2 x. Then it's easier to see that the outside function is power and the inside function is cosine. I'm going to make it a little bit easier to see that by putting the 1/2 on the outside of the parentheses. First thing we're going to do is the derivative of the power, so we do power rule. We leave the inside the same. Then we take the derivative of the inside and we multiply it afterwards. Derivative of cosine x is negative sine x. If we want to rewrite that, we could rewrite it as something like that. Okay. Cosine cubed x. Remember, this is the same thing as cosine x quantity cubed. The derivative, we would do power rule. For the outside function cube, we would put 3 cosine x and then squared. And then we would put the derivative of the inside function cosine x would be negative sine x. Negative 3 cosine squared x sine x. Okay. Oh, weird. We have cosine inside cosine. So the outside function is cosine. The inside function is cosine. The derivative of the outside function is negative sine. Keep the inside the same. Then we take the derivative of the inside. And we multiply. Okay, and then we can simplify. We'll cancel out the negatives. We'll put sine squared because we can combine those two together. Okay. 1 over sine x. 1 over sine x, it's easier if we rewrite that as sine x to the negative 1. Outside is a power. Inside is sine x. Let's take the derivative of the outside. It would be negative 1. Keep the inside the same. Lower the exponent by 1. Take the derivative of the inside for chain rule. Cosine x. Or something like that. Okay, 2 sine squared 2x. This is not really worth doing a quotient rule because look, the top isn't even a variable. So let's rewrite this as a negative exponent, like that. Okay, so the coefficient stays here. The negative 2 comes down for power rule. The inside stays the same. The negative 2 is lowered by 1 to negative 3. We take the derivative of the inside. The derivative of the inside would be cosine 2x instead of sine 2x. And then we have another chain rule because the inside of the inside function is 2x. Is that the first time we did a 3-layer chain rule? Okay, so we had 3 layers. This 2 could be combined with these. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Cosine 2x and then sine 2x cubed on the bottom. Okay. Number 4, find the gradient of the tangent to sine cubed at a point where x equals 2 pi over 3. Oh, so they're asking us to substitute now. Okay. So basically all we're going to do is do what we've done this whole page. We're going to take the derivative of the function. After we finish taking the derivative of the function, then we're going to put in this x value and get a number, okay? All right, so what is the derivative of sine cubed x? First of all, I'm just going to rewrite sine cubed x as sine x with a cube on the outside so that we can see that it's power rule on the outside. We do the derivative of the outside function, bring the 3 down. The inside stays the same. Then we do the chain rule on the inside, cosine x. Now we're done with the derivative. Now we're going to plug in x equals 2 pi over 3. When we put that in, we're going to have to put it here and here. So I'm just going to first write it. Don't do more than one step at the same time, because if you're doing this on an exam, first you want to show, yes, I know I'm substituting in the x value. And then after that, if you evaluate it wrong, at least they knew that you were substituting 2 pi over 3 correctly. What is the sine of 2 pi over 3? Oh, you didn't think they were going to ask you that anymore, right? Sine of 2 pi over 3 is this triangle here. It's the long side, so it would be square root of 3 over 2. So that would be 3 times square root of 3 over 2 squared. What is cosine of 2 pi over 3? It's the short side. It would be negative 1/2. So negative 1/2. Negative 3/2. Square root of 3 squared on top is 3. 2 squared on the bottom is 4. Negative 9 over 8. That's the answer for A. What about B? Cosine x sine x. What's the derivative of cosine x sine x? Well, cosine x sine x is a product. So if this is u and this is v, then u dash would be negative sine x. V dash would be cosine x. Now let's multiply them together. We're going to multiply this times this and this times this and add them together. So negative sine x times sine x and cosine x times cosine x. So that's equal to negative sine squared x plus cosine squared x. Now I'm going to plug in x equals pi over 4. Negative sine squared pi over 4 plus cosine squared pi over 4. Don't do 2 steps at once, because if you find the wrong unit circle value, all is lost. Remember, sine of pi over 4 and cosine of pi over 4 are both square root of 2 over 2. So negative square root of 2 over 2 squared plus positive square root of 2 over 2 squared. You can see where this is going, right? So it just so happens at this point that we have negative 1/2 plus 1/2. Square root of 2 squared is 2. 2 squared is 4. It's 1/2, right? Negative 1/2 plus positive 1/2 is 0. Right at that point, it's 0. Okay? It's not always 0. Okay, that's it.